How are we feeling tonight?
Doing good. Feeling good.
Feeling good, feeling good.
Feeling great.
How you doing?
Feeling good, feeling good. And that's everybody.
Look at that cute little baby.
He's super cute. Little baby boy. Or is it baby girl?
Baby boy. Baby boy, I like your baby.
Oh, see, trying to catch up with you. The hair girl. Hold on.
Okay. Excuse me, sir.
That man said hopefully.
What?
You sign into this?
Yeah, just so I can hear.
Is that Brianna? What's up, Brianna?
Hey,
What's
queen.
up?
Right, so let's go ahead and get started, family. So obviously things are a smidge different tonight. It's not kicking it with pain tonight. It's chilling with Saree.
Yes.
So a little bit. Of course, Fridays will still be kicking it with pain. Tonight is just an opportunity to give him a little bit of a break. And also just to do a vibe check with everybody, especially with it being the end of the trading week. So if you guys see me looking down a little bit, since it's my first training call, I did jot some notes down, so please don't mind me with that. I just wanted to make sure that I came prepared for you guys. So I'll try not to be long, but we do want to go strong tonight. So we are going to start with mindset, do a little bit of vibe check, and then wrap up with any trade reviews that you guys might have from this past week. Even though Dee did tell me that I'm hosting the call tonight, so to handle the charts, I will do my best to answer any questions that you guys have. And if there's something that I can't answer, I may ask for his assistance. Is that okay with you, Mr. D. Payne?
Yeah, okay.
Cool. All right. So, as I mentioned, starting with mindset, last Friday, we did the goals and the reflection for the month of April. And then even today, I think you guys may have seen in the chat that I had dropped a little bit earlier just to take some time to look back on this past week and just do a little bit of self-reflection, whether in life or in trading. It wasn't anything that you guys had to share, but just something to do for self. Something about me, I've always kind of put other people's happiness before my own, only because it makes me happy to see other people happy. It's kind of a good thing and a bad thing in a way, just because I need to make sure that I'm happy and in a good place so that I can continue pouring into other people's cup and be able to share value as well. However, seeing other people, like I said, happy is it just makes me happy. That's just something that has always been a thing with family, with friends, with work. It's just always been there. However, I have noticed that the energy in the chat has been fluctuating just a little bit. And I know that we all have good and not so good bad days, and that's okay. I was watching the TV show Dexter last night. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there were a couple of nuggets that I had gotten, which one, he mentioned that you still smile, or well, it was kind of a flashback, but it was that you still smile for a picture, whether you're happy or not. And so that just stuck out for me because it, for the most part, it's true. There are some people who are just really stubborn and got the blank, resting B face, which is cool. But for the most part, if somebody asks you to, come join in for a picture, no matter whatever you're going through, you're still gonna smile. So that just stuck out for me because it was just a reminder that no matter what happens, like still just be grateful, whether it's raining or whether there's sunshine going on outside in your world. The second nugget that just kind of stuck out for me was perfecting a new craft takes time. So give yourself time. Things I must experience. Austin Godsey came back after a really long absence. I know most of you guys are familiar. Bree, if you're not familiar with who Austin Godsey is, please check him out on Instagram. I could drop his IG in the chat a little bit later, but he's definitely been an inspiration and has always kept it real. That's what I really appreciate about him, is that he will drop some nuggets and not hold back as far as just keeping it blunt but genuine, at the same time. So for those who did see his post,
That was lit.
Wasn't it?
That was lit. I was like,
Yeah, I was about to tear up on that, man.
That's wild.
It really hit home for me just because, again, it was a reminder that you truly don't know what a person is going through. And yet there are people who still smile through it all. If you have checked out his recent post, or if you get a chance to, you'll see that, again, he was gone for 6 months. He actually got suspended from the company due to bad behavior, and it was because his mom had passed. And everybody handles things, differently. We're all human, and that's okay. But what stuck out for me, or what hit home for me, was the fact that his mom had went into a coma an hour before he had shared his speech or had gone on stage at the Las Vegas convention last year, which was one of my first main conferences that I got to go to. And again, was super inspired, was super motivated, and just really appreciated all of the value that he was sharing. I was very fortunate, and Dustin was fortunate as well, that we happened to be walking on the casino floor at the time. We actually almost got scammed by this lady who was trying to sell like this whole, get money type of thing if you give us money. And shortly after Dustin, because I did think about it, I was like, oh, and Dustin was like, nah, he didn't feel comfortable with it. And literally a few minutes later, as we were walking on, it was, I promise, like God's perfect timing, that Austin Godsey happened to be walking through the casino floor as well. And so we ended up going up to him, we shook his hand, and I just remember speaking to him, how warm his energy was. He was super down to earth, and he kept saying, oh, are you guys part of, IML? Because it was IML at the time. And we said, yeah. And he was like, well, you guys are family. He said, if you guys ever need anything, even if you guys aren't in my downline, reach out to me. I will help you. I'll do anything I could do to try and help, And he had mentioned that he hadn't gotten any sleep probably for more than 24 hours at the time. And little did we know that, again, his mom had just went into a coma right before he had gotten on stage, like no more than an hour before that. So for him to still push through, even with things that were like literally crashing in his world, to still be kind and to still be positive and to still keep the vision in mind in front of him, it was just mind-blowing to me. And again, just it was kind of like a reality check for me. Again, I try to stay positive as much as possible and try not to complain. And again, we're gonna complain sometimes, and that's okay. But I just want you to know that even when you take a loss or a lesson, sometimes keep pushing forward, because it's not the end. Same goes for Riyadh. I know you guys have heard his story about literally getting eviction notices on his door, his lights, you know, almost being turned off, and yet he was still showing the plan at his place. He was still pushing through, even though he had drank, even though his car had gotten repossessed. He was still kind, he was still dropping value, he was still pushing forward, because again, he was keeping that vision in his mind. And I know you guys have heard him say all the time that, what did he say the other day? He said, eyes that can see are common, but eyes that have vision are rare. He said, eyes that can look are common, but eyes that have vision are rare. So again, I just want to remind you guys that whatever's going on out here is a lie. You guys, I want you to just know that as long as you're continuing to share your gratitude, not only with the universe, but with yourself, saying your affirmations and just knowing that as long as you keep pushing, as long as you keep putting a foot forward, you know, even if you might get pushed back a little bit by the wind sometimes, that as long as you're determined and motivated to get to your goal, that you will get there. So with that said, we're gonna do a little Sankofa work with me, and we're gonna go back and I'm gonna share some things with you about my story. So I was actually inspired by Lacree from her gold trade the other day, to go back to some of my beginnings. And when I say some of my beginnings, I mean as far as trading goes, but I'm actually going to go a little bit back further and share my story with you guys. So just bear with me. Like I said, I'll try not to be too long sharing my story, because ultimately me sharing my story, I want you to know at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about my story, hopefully helping you guys and you guys finding some type of value in it. So I started working when I was 14. I worked 2 jobs. I worked at Dairy Queen and a coffee shop called Blackberries. So I've always had that hustle mentality going, even to the point that when I went to school, I was selling donuts and candy to kids. I was like always about, you know, making money. Aside from that, my grandma, she wanted me to be the next John Benet Ramsey, so I was supposed to be this model. Of course, you guys know that I sing. So ultimately, I always had it put in my mind that I was meant for something bigger, for something more. So I was always pushing, and always saw my mom working really hard. So I thought, okay, well, working is going to get me there. Working hard and putting in overtime and everything is going to give me the things that I want. So by the time I started college, I was actually working 3 jobs, and I was going to school full time. I was taking 8 classes. I worked on campus I was working for an attorney doing on-call work, and then I was also working at three jobs. um, and I was working at this retail store called Charming Charlie. So 2 jobs to help pay the bills, and then working at the retail store was my little play money. I ended up not working for the attorney anymore and was still working full-time on campus. Like I said, still going to school full-time. I ended up working at a call center and finally was able to get into a position to where I was only going to school and then working my job at the call center. After a little bit of time, I ended up moving to California to pursue acting full-time as well as singing. And so I was doing background work, literally for minimum wage. I think it was like $9.50 at the time per hour. I was barely making it, but I was happy. And I think we all want to do something that makes us happy and makes us money, right? So I had the vision in my mind again because, like I said earlier, I had it in my mind. It was put in my mind from a young age that I was meant for more. I was meant to be successful. Unfortunately, I was put into an eviction situation by one of my housemates, somebody that I thought I could trust, and I had to get a job. I moved out. I was fortunate to find a place where I was renting out a room. There was like 10 other people in the house. The lady was a hoarder, but I'm still grateful because even though it was a horrible living situation, I still had a roof over my head. And I just remember my mom, my ex's mom at the time telling me to just like move back to Colorado. You know, it was just a lot going against me as far as my emotions went and just my outside reality that was going on. But again, I didn't want to give up. I didn't want everything that I was going through to be for nothing. So I stayed. I stayed in California and I ended up getting a full-time job, which meant that I had to take time away from acting just to make sure that I could still eat, that I still had a roof over my head. And I just want to remind you guys, we said the word time just a little bit ago. Again, things that I must experience. That it was at this point, even though I didn't know it back then, that my life had made a shift. Why? Because this job that I was now going into full time was actually where I met Dustin. Dustin was the one who introduced me to this opportunity. So everything happens for a reason, right? Now, before we get into all of that, again, just keep in mind that even though that was 5 years ago, it obviously wasn't time for me to be introduced to this opportunity yet, because there were still a lot more things that I had to experience before I was meant to be exposed to this blessing. So going back to that point in time, of course, you guys know that with California, cost of living is really high. I'm not quite sure how it is out in Oklahoma, Bree, but it is expensive AF out here, okay?
I already know. It's not bad here, but I've heard stories about California for
Yeah,
sure.
girl. I mean, it's not as bad as New York, I've heard, but it's pretty intense. So, because of that, because of the cost of living being so high, this was a point in time where I had to get a second job, the first time since I moved out here to California. So I started doing Lyft, which I ended up having a bad experience with one of the customers who got into my car. It was a really scary experience, so I stopped that. Ended up trying out Instacart, and I was extremely overworked. Was carrying like literally loads of groceries to just get $12 for one customer, so left that. And then I tried Uber Eats for a little bit, and again, doing all this driving, waiting in traffic and everything for literally a couple of bucks. So it's just little pay. So boom, D-Pain's yes to this academy ended up leading to my yes. I ended up joining January 9th of last year. I just want you guys to keep in mind as well, just again, visualize with me that I was living on my own at this time. I was trying to find my confidence again and rebuild my self-esteem from just, you know, a really bad breakup that had happened the summer before. With me living on my own, this was the first time that I had lived on my own since I had left home. My mom was in the process of being evicted, and I was getting messages from my grandma every now and then. Hey, do you have like an extra $20 or $10 that you could send me just so that I could make it to the end of the month? So all of this was eating away at me when I initially was exposed to this opportunity. And I just wanted a change financially in my bank account, you know, just something, just some type of break, you know, from everything that I was going through in life. And again, was still trying to stay positive through all of this, was still trying to keep it pushing, still keeping the vision in my mind that again, I'm still here in California. I haven't had to go back home. I am still pushing towards the vision, no matter how long that takes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna share my screen really quick on my phone. Let's see if we get it pulled up. And again, we're gonna go back to the beginning of this journey that I'm in with all of you guys right now. Let's drop the screenshots. Right, here we go. We'll just go through a couple, but there are just a couple of things that stuck out for me. Green. Okay, you guys could see my screen, right? All right, so as I mentioned, you guys see the date at the top. I joined January 9th. I was going through the academy, got my screenshots of the academy. And then, see, we have my first time that I was trading gold in my demo account. I was super excited because I was like, hell yeah, I'm making all this money, even though it wasn't real. But I was excited. I was super excited at an opportunity to learn more. So this was my first time trading in my real account. I made a deposit of $100, super excited, which is crazy because even looking back at this, I was like, oh, I didn't know that I traded that here. And now all I talk about is, no, I trade gold and that's it. You guys, I'm loyal to gold. Eventually, freaking Nas, I'm gonna get back to Nas. Just taking a small break right now. but I was excited, obviously, to the point where I was taking screenshots, you guys. So we were making more trades. Now, please, 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 because again, I want you guys to learn from me. You guys will notice that my margin level was a little crazy. I was trading big lot sizes. And again, this was because I was excited. I was still at a point where I was learning to master my emotions. I'm still learning how to master my emotions, you guys. It's an ongoing journey. But I was excited. I was super excited. Let's see. There's even you guys see that I had a couple of lessons right there, but we're still winning. Let's see what we have here. Still winning, even though the screen is a little red. I wanted to show you guys some charts as well. So where are we? Oh, still winning. All right, so you guys still see even with the charts and everything, I was taking pictures, but then we started to get a little desperate. I had $143 in my account, and I was getting a little too bold, a little too big-headed, because I was like, oh, I'm winning. And we started taking some lessons. So you guys see my equity at this point was $86, even though my balance was 143. And again, there are going to be some points where you're going to take a couple of lessons, because it's all part of the process. But through all of this, my vision was still there. That's the key thing, is that my vision was still there. I knew what this opportunity could bring. So we see right here that this is a horrible trade gone wrong. Again, was getting desperate. Freaking sold at the bottom. Trade started going the opposite way. I'm trying to still catch it here in the middle. Kept going a little bit higher, added another sale to try and make up for what I was losing. I was becoming desperate because, again, my emotions weren't in check at this point. Let's see. We had a couple there. What's a little intense, you guys?
Oh, Lord!
And it's funny now because I could clearly see that this is an inverted head and shoulders. Now, back then, not so much, because again, my main goal was the money at that time, because of everything that was happening in the background with my mom, with my grandma, with me, I let's see, we had one. Oh, that was a good one. Right, freaking Grace, man, she was a boss. Cute. I don't know if you remember Grace with like the freaking $1 million wins in the chat, but
She straight up disappeared.
all right, so we're still keeping it moving. You guys saw at one point I was over $200. Now I'm down to 40. Still trading. We still got a little bit of blue going on. There was one where I didn't realize that I traded the Mexican peso at one point. That one I wanted to share actually for the peso queen, but we'll find that here in a second. So still going lower, still getting desperate. Still a little bit lower. This is when I was like getting a little bit more serious about gold. And as you guys could see, I don't know if you guys could tell in that upper left-hand corner, but we're on the minute chart. I think I told you guys I was a scalper. It was kind of addicting, to be honest, in the beginning. But it was something that I was interested in. Now this is where I wanted to bring you guys. We even went from over $200 all the way down to $4.85, damn near blowing an account. Okay. This is not even a whole month yet after joining IML. Okay. Not even a whole month yet. Still over here trying to trade 10-cent trades to keep it moving, keep it going. But you know, we kept it pushing. At this point, I was gearing up for going to Vegas. Here we go for the peso queen. I traded the Mexican peso. I was getting into gold again still. You guys see that, I don't know what the USD TRY was. I was just jumping into things without really thinking, you guys. Because again, I was trying to get the money. And something that B. Burrell said earlier today is that you don't want to hop into this because of the money. You want to learn the skills so that money isn't a problem. All right, so ultimately, which this one I thought was funny. You guys see, I was in for a buy and we had this huge drop. I don't even know like why I circled that area because it was clearly a break and retest, even on the minute chart, you guys. Okay. But I was still learning. I was still learning.
That's 2 holes almost down. I just have to say that. That's 2 holes. What?
We're gonna scroll a little bit more. I want you guys to see that I didn't give up. Okay, so we're still trading. Where do I want to go? You see there's charts everywhere. October, and then we want to go to the November screenshots. Yeah. So long story short, I blew a lot of accounts. Or at least a couple of accounts through my journey. But I still ended up going to Vegas for the main conference. That upped my belief level. I ended up trying again in the summer, blew an account again. Ended up going to Dallas for that convention. My belief level was brought up again. And in November, I started trading again. I started my double up challenge. And you guys see that I was like trying to start out small. Yeah, don't judge my Fashion Nova addiction. And so by this time, obviously, I've been through the academy a couple of times. I've checked out Christopher Derrick. I've checked out Oren. And, you know, again, things that I must experience. I've gained a little bit more knowledge. I'm a little bit wiser at this point, right? So you see that we went up from 100 to 200 right there. Yeah. Had some good trades there. We're getting up in the money a little bit more. We're up to $500 now. All gold. Then we had some losses again, and that's okay. Still had the vision. Okay, so we're gonna state really quick. Don't over leverage. Be mindful of proper risk management. Again, I'm just sharing my journey that again, you don't have to go through this, you guys. You don't have to go through this. We ended up making it up to $1,500 from $50. Let's see. Here we go. This is where we're gonna go. We're making improvements. At this point, we had a 4-figure day. I was super excited about that. and I don't think I have my $5,000 screenshot, but that's okay. That's enough. Ultimately, my goal was to share with you guys that you're going to take some lessons. You're going to take some wins. It's all part of the process, and I want you guys to trust that process, okay? Because I'm still holding on to my vision, even though with those last few trades that you guys saw, I ended up making it actually to a little bit shy of my $5,000 goal before I blew my account, okay? Due to NFP, that's why I'm so adamant about telling you guys, please protect your trades when it comes to NFP. I share that out of love and only because of my experience, and I don't want you guys to go through that. When Dustin says use proper risk management, it's because he doesn't want you to go through the same experiences that he's gone through. When Q's telling you to plug in with the family, it's because when you stay close to the campfire, you will get warm, okay? Listen to the experiences of others, so that way you guys don't have to go through the same losses, because it sucks going through losses. Let's just keep it real, okay? We're human. We're gonna feel sad. We're gonna get frustrated. We're gonna get a little angry sometimes because nobody likes to lose. Nobody likes to lose, okay? But it's how you handle that loss afterwards, which is what is going to contribute to your growth. I want to share a quote really quick, and then I share a video with you guys before we wrap up this mindset portion. We'll do a check and then go from there. But this quote that I found stuck out to me. It says, "There's no losing, only learning, no failure, only opportunities, no problems, only solutions. Failure is the mother of all success. If it weren't for Michael Jordan getting cut from his 9th grade basketball team, he wouldn't have become Michael Jordan. Oprah Winfrey was fired because she was told that she wasn't good for TV. Walt Disney was let go from his newspaper job because he was told that he had no imagination. All they could do was learn and come back bigger and better and stronger, because all it does is lead you in the right direction. If you're always winning, then you don't really understand what it is to win. You got to take those losses and those hits, because there are valleys, there are peaks, there are ups and downs, in order for you to appreciate that when it happens, when that win happens, you can go, wow, this is what it's all about. It's never about making it, it's about maintaining it, which is the hardest part. So I want you guys to write down the word focus. Follow one course until successful. Keep the vision in mind. Keep it in your heart. Keep pushing, y'all. Keep pushing. I know it gets, I know it gets rough. And again, like I said, we will have good days. We will have not so good days. No such thing as bad days. We are not claiming that. We are getting rid of that energy. We're keeping it outside our doors. But keep pushing, and know that here with this family, you guys have support. You have support. You have support. Whether when it comes to trading, again, if you ever need a vibe check, because I know there used to be some point in time where some of our family, they will hop on, hey fam, I need a vibe check. You guys can still do that. And it's okay. It's okay for you to do that. We're all growing. We're all learning. We're all going through a process. And I just want to remind you guys to trust that. And just know that it's going to be okay. But you have to believe that it's going to be okay. So one more quick share with my screen. see if it's gonna play the audio for you guys though.
I don't know if you see the chat, but honestly, thank you.
You're welcome.
From my parents, absolutely. That you.
All right. So you guys could see the screen. Could you guys hear it a little bit? Perfect.
I learned very young from my parents, absolutely, that you don't try to build a wall. You don't set out to build a wall. You don't say, I'm going to build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that's ever been built. You don't start there. You say, I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. There will not be one brick on the face of the earth that's going to be laid better than this brick that I'm going to lay in this next 10 minutes. Yeah. And you do that every single day, and soon you have a wall. And I think psychologically, the advantage that gives me over a lot of people that I have been in competition with in different situations is it's difficult to take the first step when you look how big the task is. The task is never huge to me. It's always one brick.
All right, you guys. So that just spoke to my heart. And again, just something that really resonated with me as far as what I wanted to share with you tonight, that you don't have to rush the process. When you try to do everything at once, or when you're comparing your chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 10, it's not benefiting you in the end. So take it step by step, even if it's a little bit at a time, it's still progress, it's still growth, it's still something that is contributing to your future. Just remember your whys, remember why you're here. And if you need to go back and do a little bit of Sankofa work for yourself, whether you've been here with us for a couple of weeks or a few months, do that. You'll find that doing that will help inspire you again. It'll help motivate you again for why you're here, why you're meant to be here. Okay? So that is it with my story. I want to check in with you guys and see if there's anything that you guys want to share, anything that's going on in your world right now, or anything that might have happened this week. And then we will go ahead and wrap it up with some trade review, some chart review. So talk to me, fam. What's going on?
Did I miss a hallelujah moment?
Ask the family.
You did.
Ah, dang.
What? How you come in right at the end of it? Like you literally waited till they were doing. They already done brought people to the altar and everything. Bro. You
Dang,
you just gonna walk up in here when it's time to go eat food. Like, all right.
It's recording. You can go back and check out my testimony.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, hi everybody. How y'all doing?
Peace. Doing great, and you're very welcome, Bree.
That's good. Good to hear.
If we're just sharing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For me personally, I've been really struggling with my emotions and distractions that have at home, which is, I'm not too proud about it, but I've been really trying to focus on listening